So now that we know what blood pressure actually is, the next logical question is, well, why should we care about it? And the answer to that is that blood pressure control might be one of the most important risk factors you can modify to help you avoid a bunch of health problems down the road. I know I always say that everything's important, but I honestly can't stress how important good blood pressure control is. Hypertension, or the formal term for high blood pressure, is seen in about 30% of the adult population, and in 2010 it was either the primary or contributing cause of death for more than 360,000 Americans. Also, uncontrolled hypertension is a major risk factor for heart attack, stroke, congestive heart failure, and cardiovascular and all-cause mortality. To top that all off, there's no symptoms that are explicitly associated with hypertension, meaning that you could very well have hypertension and never know it until you have one of the previously mentioned issues show up later in your life. So now this isn't meant to scare you at all, but I'd rather just let you know that this isn't one of those situations where you can just wait until you don't feel right. In fact, the United States Preventive Services Task Force, or USPSTF for short, recommends that everybody get screened over the age of 18 for hypertension. And then from there, other risk factors determine how frequently you get checked. For example, if you're over the age of 40 or have risk factors like falling into the obese or overweight categories, if you have higher blood pressures in like the 130s or 80s, or African American, then it's recommended you get checked every year. If you're younger than 40, don't have any risk factors like we mentioned above, then they say about every 3 to 5 years you should be checked. But from my perspective, this pretty much costs nothing, so I think you should be checked every year. Finally, I also want to talk about how we actually screen for this. This can be done in a few different ways, but the main ways are either in the doctor's office or outside at home. In fact, the data seems to indicate that at-home measurements with a validated cuff seem to be just as accurate as the clinic values, and it gives the advantage of being able to get more data over a longer period of time. So this is actually what I prefer. If you're interested in getting a blood pressure cuff to check at home, you can go to validatebp.org to get a list of solid blood pressure cuffs that can be relied on. If you found this helpful, it would mean the world to me if you liked, commented, subscribed, or shared it with a friend. Thanks so much for joining me today. Now get off the internet, go be active, and enjoy your life. We'll see you next time.